Hi friends, good evening. How are you? Hope all are fine. Welcome to Sam online class. Today we are going to discuss about the life cycle of various species of Odogonium. The species of Odogonium are divided into two different groups on the basis of distribution of sex organ. One is Macrandros species, other is Nanandros species. In Macrandros species, Antheridia are born on normal size filament, whereas in Nanandros species, Antheridia are born on short filament known as dwarf male or Nanandrio. The Macrandros species can be monoecious or dioecious. In monoecious species, both the Antheridia and Oogonia develop on the same filament, whereas in dioecious species, the Antheridia and Oogonia develop in different thallus. Next is Nanandros species. The Nanandros species can be divided into two different groups. One is Gynandrosporous species, other is Idioandrosporous species. In Gynandrosporous species, the Androsporangia and Oogonia are born on the same filament, whereas in Idioandrosporous species, the Androsporangia and Oogonia are born on different filament. All Nanandros species are dioecious. That means the Antheridia and Oogonia are born on different filament. Let us discuss about the life cycle of Macrandros monoecious species, Macrandros dioecious species and Nanandros species one by one. This is the graphic representation of the life cycle of Macrandros monoecious species. In Macrandros monoecious species, both the Antheridium and Oogonium are born on the same filament. So Antheridium is the male sex organ, Oogonium is the female sex organ. Antheridium produce antherozoids, Oogonium produce egg. Antherozoids are the male gametes, egg is the female gamete. Next step is fertilization. Fertilization occurs between egg and antherozoids that result in the formation of zygote. So this zygote is a diploid structure. Later on, zygote undergo meiosis. By the process of meiosis, 4 haploid nuclei are formed inside the zygote. Each haploid nucleus transforms into zoomeospore, and the zoomeospore can germinate to form a new filament of Odogonium. This is about the sexual reproduction in Macrandros monoecious species. In this species, Oogonium and Antheridium are born on the same filament. Next is this Macrandros monoecious species also reproduce asexually. Asexual reproduction occurs by the formation of zoospore, and the zoospores are formed in specialized structure known as zoosporangium, and the zoospore can germinate to form a new filament of Odogonium. So in this life cycle, except zygote, all are haploid structures. The thallus is haploid, Oogonium, Antheridium, antherozoids, egg, zoospore, all are haploid except zygote. So in this life cycle, haploid phase is the major phase. So this type of life cycle is known as haplontic life cycle. Now the life cycle of Macrandros dioecious species. In this species, Antheridia and Oogonia are born on different filament. One is male filament and other is female filament. This diagram represents the life cycle of Macrandros dioecious species. Like other species, here also asexual reproduction occurs through the formation of zoospore, which upon germination form a new filament. Next, sexual reproduction. So, in Macrandros dioecious species, one is male filament and other is female filament. Antheridium are born on male filament and Oogonia are born on female filament. Antheridium produce antherozoid and Oogonium produce egg. Fertilization occur between antherozoid and egg that result in the formation of zygote, which is a diploid structure. The diploid nucleus of the zygote divide by meiosis that result in the formation of 4 haploid nuclei. These 4 haploid nuclei undergo metamorphosis to form 4 zoomeospore. Out of 4 zoomeospore, 2 zoomeospore germinate and give rise to female filament, and remaining 2 zoomeospore upon germination give rise to male filament. This is the life cycle of Macrandros dioecious species. Now the life cycle of non-androus species. In non-androus species, Antheridia are born on short filament known as dwarf male or non-andrium. Non-androus species are divided into 2 different groups. One is gynandrosporous species and other is Idioandrosporous species. In gynandrosporous species, Androsporangia and Oogonia are born on the same filament, whereas in Idioandrosporous species, Androsporangia and Oogonia are born on different filament. This diagram represents the life cycle of non-androus species. Like other species, here also asexual reproduction occurs through the formation of zoospore, which upon germination give rise to a new filament. Then sexual reproduction. So in non-androus species, Antheridia are born on short filament known as dwarf male. This dwarf male arises due to the germination of androspore. And androspore is formed within specialized structure known as androsporangium, whereas the female sex organ is oogonium, and the development of oogonium is like other species. So Antheridium produce antherozoid, oogonium produce egg. Fertilization occur that result in the formation of zygote, which is a diploid structure. The diploid nucleus of zygote divide mutically that result in the formation of 4 haploid nuclei. These 4 haploid nuclei undergo metamorphosis to form 4 zoomeospore. Out of 4 zoomeospore, 2 zoomeospore give rise to female filament and remaining 2 zoomeospore give rise to male filament. So, in the life cycle of various species of Odogonium, only zygote is the diploid structure. Remaining all Androsporangium, Androspore, Oogonium, Antheridium, egg, antherozoids and the thallus itself are haploid. Only the zygote is the diploid structure. So in such a life cycle where haploid phase is the major phase, this life cycle is known as haplontic life cycle. This is about the life cycle of non-androus species.